Hello friends, welcome to Ask Asslam. And हर हफ्ते की तरह we start this program with the current news and updates, seeing that what's happening in the studying abroad industry, in the education industry, in the higher education industry, and also we would be taking the live questions from our audience to help you solve your problems and maybe looking for the solutions to move ahead in your life for your study abroad journey. So with this, let's start with our first news, and the first news is a very encouraging, first time ever after a long period of time coming in from New Zealand. And New Zealand has just announced good news for the international students that New Zealand is going to increase the working hours for international students. It's indeed a very welcome news, especially given in this condition whereby US is putting restrictions. Australia is not looking so positive with its approach towards India. In fact, I've got another news about Australia we'll share in a quite while. And then we are seeing that different options like Canada country as a country also has got some restrictions for the Indian students, especially because of the economic ties and the government relationship which were not so high in the recent time. So okay, let's connect again and let's focus on to New Zealand, what New Zealand has got to say. So as per the news, New Zealand work limit for the international students to work part-time was 20 hours a week, and it has been increased to 25 hours a week. Isn't it a great news? It means that you can get to work more and probably make your earning better as a part-time student, as a full-time student working part-time, and earn some good money to support your living expenses. So this rule is going to apply for all the students who have been granted a visa after 3rd November 2025. So those who have already got the visa, who are already just visited New Zealand to start their journey of education, or those who are in preparation to apply for the visa, that's great news for all of you. You can avail this 24 hours rule flexibility for your part-time job. And those students who are already there in New Zealand, they can change their visa and contact the immigration authorities to do so. But that's a really great news. And what does it mean is that it is going to also help international students to make their earning better. And New Zealand is also one of the expensive places to live in the country, in the world, and the cost of education also not very low. So usually on an average, the fees in New Zealand colleges would cost you around 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. And in the universities, it would be anywhere between 12 lakhs to 20 lakhs approximately. And so I'm just talking about the tuition fees. And in this given scenario, of course, the international students, especially Indian students, would rely on their part-time earnings, so that at least after they settle down for first 3-4 months, they try to find a part-time job, rely on to the earning, so that they can at least meet their living expenses while studying. Well, it's not just compulsory. If you have got the means to support your expenses, you can rely on your own saving. But I believe it's personally a good choice to start working once you settle down in that country, so that gives you a sense of independence. It allows you to experience the professional work environment in that country, get connected with the culture, people, and build a good network. So I believe part-time job is not just for the sake of earning money, but also to get connected immediately with the local culture and with the people. And hence, if you see from that point of view, yes, I would suggest that you should take up a part-time job. And in given that scenario, with this new current rule, I believe New Zealand is going to attract a lot of international students' attention, especially Indian students who kind of neglected New Zealand for last quite a few years in favor of US, Canada, Australia, and even Germany. And Germany displaced New Zealand from the 5th position as the largest recruiter company. But I strongly believe that with this new rule, Indian students are really going to look at New Zealand seriously again for their higher education. By the way, those who do not know, New Zealand has got just 8 universities, and the rest of them are either the technological institutes or private colleges. But these 8 universities in New Zealand ranks among top 500 in the world, and some of them rank among top 100 in the world for certain subjects. So you must look into this option and this country, which is really promising. Also, I just wanted to share this strategic planning has been the part of the international education going for growth plan for the New Zealand, and they would like to double the number of students, and they would like to get by 2034. The aim is to get 119,000 students enrolled in New Zealand, which is the government's goal. I think this makes a lot of sense to look at the country as Indian students. Let's move on to the second news. And second news coming in from a different angle. What has been chosen in this news and what has been identified is that degrees aren't enough. And this news deals with why students are looking for short-term global courses in addition to or in lieu of full-time degrees. And that's a new trend which is catching up. What's happening here is that a lot of time international students, they go and they commit themselves for a 3 years or 4 years bachelor's or 2 years master's. Whilst they pursue their bachelor's and master, you realize that I also want to learn in that particular field which is not necessarily covered in my regular education mode or in my curriculum. And in that case, students are not shying away to invest that extra hours and money in order to get that specific specialized knowledge in that particular field. So earlier, there was a concept, and it's still there in the US and other countries, having a major and minor, whereby you can still go for say major in business management and minor in photography. The 12 different field specialization combining together. However, what's happening is that in spite of you committing to any one particular major or major minor, you still want to explore some expertise in a respective field which may be catching up whilst you studying, and you realize that, oh, I've got my interest here, but I've already committed myself for this full-time course. Maybe I would like to invest into this particular short-term course, and hence this report suggests that a lot of short-term courses, and the short-term courses definition is anywhere between 1 week to 10 months. So any duration of this period is being identified as a very interesting proposition for the students to look for the courses. These short-term courses are again offered offline by respective universities and colleges, and also online. And online demand is very high for short-term course. Of course, you are not going to get a full-time classroom experience. However, this pre-recorded online course will at least help you to clarify the thought process, get some structures into that particular field, or at least get that field foundation clear with that learning experience. Just to extend this point, the students can also take up the short-term program, or not necessarily program, but a short-term international study exposure in the form of global immersion program or summer program, which is again getting a lot of popularity among Indian students, especially the students who are studying at IB or IG level or A level schools. They are already exposed to a lot of international summer programs during the summer vacation. And then recently the summer programs are no longer remaining only in summer. Then you can go into winter, or you can go into any time based on your curriculum and your specific period which has been mentioned by the school, and you can take up a global immersion program. Not only it is only restricted to the schools, but also the colleges are encouraging students to take up a field trip kind of learning experience, wherein you go to the different country, you spend some time with the local people, get to know their culture, attend some classes by the host universities, get certification, interact with the international students on the campus, then visit some of the important places, monuments, go to the museum and learn about the history, art, culture. And that's, I think it's a very good immersive experience for you as a student to expose to, before even maybe you decide to go to any particular country for a bachelor master program. So again, that is catching up, and you can also take up the step towards in this direction. Another news is coming from Australia. Well, this is something which is really alarming, because Australia has hiked the international students' visa fees, and the visa fees in Australia is going to be now the most expensive fee, student visa fee charged by any English speaking country in the world. Yes, my friend. So Australia is becoming really hungry to make some really good profit out of your visa fees, and if I may say so, the visa application fee has been increased from 1,600 Australian dollars to 2,000 Australian dollars. It's a 27% hike. It's approximately 1,12,000 Indian rupees you have to pay just to get your visa. So imagine one student is paying nearly a lakh rupees just to get the visa. That's crazy. And by doing so, of course, the Australian government has got the reasons to do. They want to give the better experience to international student community, and they wanted to have the facilities which live up to the status of Australia as a country, etc., etc. But whatever you may say, it's a burden on your student, on the students' total study expenses, and it's a sharp rise. I believe that it's too much to increase by 27%. I've never seen by any country increasing the visa fees to that extent, and by doing so, they are expecting the revenue to jump from 400 Australian dollars to 760 million Australian dollars over 4 years. It's a crazy amount of money the government is going to make by increasing this Australian visa fee. Just to put you into the context, the UK visa fees in front of me is $524. The increase was just by 7%. It's approximately 60,000 Indian rupees. Still, it's expensive. The US visa fees is being increased by say. Just marginally, from $160 to $185, which is approximately 15,000 Indian rupees. Canada visa fees is 48,000. Germany is 5,000, and most of the other European countries not have even bothered to raise the visa fees for their international students. But Australia is really going to become expensive for the students' point of view. Okay, moving to the next news is coming from a field wherein it is suggesting that now more and more non-tech students are opting for AI and data related programs at the master's level, and increasingly students from humanity, commerce and arts, even designing students are also wants to ride onto the trend of getting themselves a tech degree or a qualification. But you would be wondering how come it is possible by having a commerce, humanity or arts degree and getting into tech. Well, there are many universities in abroad who have designed a master's program for non-tech students. So rather than going for a hardcore tech program whereby you don't have to write the coding and everything, and anyways, the new AI models are also being trained to create the website, create an app. So you don't have to not necessarily know the code in near future. So these programs are, introducing you to the world of technology through AI and data management courses, not the hardcore technology courses. So you can get this qualification by having a non-tech bachelor degree. If you need more information, you visit alif.in website, wherein we have laid down more than 90,000 courses. You can go through it and find out the requirements mentioned there, or you can connect us for free counseling. So there are many universities who are doing so. So Imperial College London, Carnegie Mellon University of US, and Harvard Division of Continuing Education has introduced a lot of courses which is meant for, especially designed for non-tech students to get into technology side of the program. Next news coming in from the next news. Just a minute, I need to get to this news open. Yeah, the next news is students are finding that only the degrees are not enough, and they are mostly going also for a short-term diplomas in addition to their degrees. And this is again a new world which we are entering into. So they believe that we are getting a theoretical knowledge, that's good, but we want to skill ourselves. And in that regards, the research report suggests that students are finding more and more skilled courses on top of their qualification of their degree, so that they become more employable in the job market, which makes a lot of sense because our Indian government is also pushing a lot into skill-based program. In fact, I was invited as a guest of honor last week to one of the events hosted here in Mumbai by OP Jindal University. This is, I think, one among 9 or 8 universities has got the title of University of Eminence status given by the government of India. And then OP Jindal University has launched its first skill-based program, a bachelor's in banking and finance, wherein it's a very unique model where 2 years you study and 1 year you work in the industry to get practical experience before you graduate with your 3 years degree. So I believe this is a trend which is catching up now more and more for the students who would like to have more practical exposure and experience while they're studying. So it makes a lot of sense. So maybe as we are entering into a new world whereby only theoretical study is not going to help anyways, it would be a good option to equip yourself with the technology, with the skill and experience. With this, let's move on to our next session, and let's take some of the questions which I have already with me. So first question is asking here, how easy or difficult it is to get into public universities? It's not mentioned which country we are talking about, so I would assume that it may be for Germany, US, kind of a country whereby public university matters a lot. Well, let's look at this answer from a Germany point of view first. Germany, you have got the option whether to get into public or private university. Now, public university are nothing but a government-funded university, mostly completely funded by the state or federal government. Now, in the government-funded universities in Germany, your fees is highly subsidized by the government. It means up to 100% scholarship you might get in order to study there if you get selected. So, genuinely don't have to pay any tuition fees. Or sometimes government or public university may charge $400 or euros per semester, which is as small as 35,000-50,000 rupees per semester, which would make universities, Indian university, more expensive. So if you get into public universities, it will save a lot of money for you, and of course the competition is very high as well. Similarly, in US, you have got a private and public universities or state-run universities. Usually in any countries, public universities are highly subsidized or less expensive compared to private universities. Now, how easy or difficult to get? Of course, it is competitive, but not as competitive as in India. For example, if you want to get into IITs, which we call Indian public universities, you have got around 30,000 seats, and there are 12 lakhs plus students are fighting for those 30,000 seats. Hence, the percentage would be less than 1% for the students to get. However, to get past and get into these universities. However, in abroad, if you have got around 75 plus, or in some courses 85 plus percentage, no need to have equivalent to JEE any tough exams preparation. You can straight away make an application to this university's public university, and you'll have a fair chance to get accepted by this university only with this percentage. So it is how easy as compared to getting into public university like IIT in India. Also, the Russian universities, which offers a public university which offers MBBS program. Now there is no entrance exam. Of course, you can take your NEET results. If you are a qualifier student, you can qualify for the admissions. Get into Russian universities, which are one of the best in the world. They've been teaching MBBS since last over 80, 90, 120, 150 years. They are as old as this. And this university are highly subsidized by the government, Russian government, and the fees would be approximately 3 lakhs to 4.5 lakhs, 5 lakhs maximum per year tuition, plus living expenses, which would be hardly 2 lakhs, is as expensive as living in Bombay or Delhi as to live in other cities of Russia. Then we talk about the public university of US. So US public university also has got the minimum benchmark of getting admission with 65-70% and above. If you get into public university, instead of paying say 28,000, 35,000, or in some cases $50,000 in private universities in the US, you would pay 1/3 of that fees into public universities. So that's how it is. So in terms of admission, if you talk about the easy or difficult in terms of marks, it's very easy. You got to write an SOP, and some university may ask you to appear for the interview, and that's the only way to select the students. Let's move on to the next question. Should I go for university with lower fees or one with a better global exposure, even if it is costly? Well, it's completely dependent upon what are you looking for out of your decision to go abroad. If you have got a financial means and you can afford expensive universities, not necessarily all expensive university needs to be equally good. The goodness lies in matching the right objective of you going abroad with that university, what they got to offer. So say for example, you are a student going for automotive engineering, automobile engineering, then US, UK, Germany could be a good option. And if you have got a good marks, then maybe Germany would be better, because then you can save on the tuition fees, and as I said, you can get up to 100% scholarship in one of the best public universities of Germany. However, if you do not wish to go to non-English speaking country and you want to only go to English speaking country, then you have got the choice to go to US or UK, wherein public university would charge you around 12 lakhs to 18 lakhs a year, and private university would be around 20 lakhs to 40 lakhs a year. And depending upon what kind of exposure is more important to you, you can decide to pay the fees. So these are the different scenarios whereby you have to make your judge, or you take the help of a professional counselor who would understand your situation, analyze your requirement, your budget, your objective of going abroad, and they will be in a better position to guide you. You can connect with our team at Alif, and we offer free cost counseling, so you can contact them, take a prior appointment, and meet any of our 41 offices across India, and they would be giving you a right information, right guidance to help you to find out the right option for you. So the cost wise, it doesn't matter. Exposure in international exposure, in the end of the day, whether you go to the more costly or less costly universities, you're going to get it. Yes, it could differ from the location of the university in that particular place. For example, if you're going to university which is based out of the city location or just outskirts of the city, the exposure point of view, it is much better than going to a university which is located in the very remote location, from the exposure point of view. However, also have a look at the university's credibility in order to attract the industries at their campuses, or different types of association they may have with different types of industry people, which would also allow you to have a better exposure whilst you study. Let's take the next question. How the job market for students post their graduation in US, looking at the current scenario? Well, it's a very tricky question, and let me tell you that the unemployment rate in US, in spite of whatever is happening and we are listening and reading in the news channel, is still under 4%, which is far better than what we have here in India or many other countries. Other countries may have anywhere between 7 to 9% unemployment ratio, which is very high comparatively. So in comparison to that, US still has got a very healthy job market and job proposition. The majority of the jobs which are available are in the areas of computer science, data analytics, cybersecurity, AI, and engineering. So these are the fields. If you are looking to study abroad, I would strongly suggest you to have a look at USA, because USA still, in this given point of time, offers excellent career opportunities in this particular area. In fact, their OPT program is there for up to 3 years for the STEM courses, which allows you to have a stay back option for 3 years if you're going for any STEM program, which is STEM certified for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses. And the US Department of Labor projected the job growth of 10% by 2030. So that speaks a volume about the career opportunities which could be available in US. Also, you need to also keep in mind that US job market is a very mature market. So the companies also offer you different types of opportunities to work. So they may offer the hybrid work environment, complete online work environment, so you can work from home or work from anywhere in the world and still be employed by the US companies. So these are some of the flexibilities, especially after COVID, it has been introduced in US and still being very widely followed up by the companies. So in that scenario, US still makes a lot of sense to look at career opportunities and study abroad options. Next question, is there a real difference between public and private universities? काफी questions are in public private में. So difference in the sense, yeah, it is like private universities are privately owned, जैसे हमारे इंडिया में भी है, OP जिंदल यूनिवर्सिटी है, अमिटी यूनिवर्सिटी, these are all private, SRM यूनिवर्सिटी, शारदा यूनिवर्सिटी, these are all private universities. Public universities are government owned, government funded universities. So in abroad also it's the same scenario. So naturally, if you're going to public funded, state funded universities in abroad, they would be less expensive as compared to going to the universities which are funded by the private owners, companies, corporates, and private foundations also. So that's a major difference in terms of their shareholding, in terms of their expenses. Also, each one has got their own advantages. Public university would also equally be very good in terms of their ranking, in terms of their exposure, facilities, accommodation, food, tuitions, faculties. Private university may offer you little extraordinary experiences because they are private, and they are little high on the fees because they can afford to invest a little more onto the facilities. But largely, I believe that it's not much difference. It really comes to you, that what do you want out of your investment of study abroad, and what kind of specialization you're looking for, and what kind of investment you can make, and accordingly you can decide. Next question is, do you have anything in agri-business courses in public universities? Well, not many universities, but yes, there are a few universities which do offer courses related to agriculture and agri-business related. For that, I would strongly advise you to and invite you to look at the universities in Ireland and New Zealand. New Zealand, we already saw good news coming in from a part-time job point of view, but New Zealand economy's larger portion relies on to the agriculture and agriculture-related businesses like dairy and all, and hence it would make a lot of sense for you to have a look at New Zealand and also Ireland as an option. And there are plenty of universities which who offers agriculture or agriculture related courses. There are more than 15 specializations in certain universities whereby agriculture related courses and specializations are offered. It could include like dairy products, agri businesses, agri marketing, and likewise. So you can surf through this information, contact us again for our counselors for free information, and get yourself familiar with the options. Our next question is coming, how can students explore career in niche areas like luxury management or design management? Well, you can find out the courses in this particular area, and nowadays more and more universities are introduced already the specialization in this particular field. Luxury management, as we've also spoken about this at length in one of our earlier program, is the upcoming field. India is becoming the hub of luxury products slowly and gradually. China has already done this 15 years ago. So it's a niche segment, and there are institutes which focuses on luxury courses. My advice to you is that if you're looking for luxury program or luxury related program, which could be luxury management, luxury brands, luxury marketing, merchandising, then I would suggest go to the institute that not only offers you luxury courses, but the campus lives in luxury. And when we talk about living in luxury, of course it's going to be expensive because that kind of experience they got to offer to students. So I would suggest look at the college like Lyon Institute in Switzerland, which is housed inside the former 4-star hotel property. So you can live, and as a student you go study in that campus, which is former 4-star hotel property, and you have got the accommodation facilities on campus. So you can live, you see the restaurant, it's a Michelin star restaurant available for international students at your campus. Can you imagine this? So if you really want to have a luxury experience, I always suggest, until and unless you live the luxury by yourself, you won't understand. Otherwise, for you, when the painting is hanging on the wall and it costs say $2 million, you would say, "Arey, kya bakwas hai? Why people are buying this? Why they are paying?" So until and unless you understand what is luxury, you cannot learn, of course, from the books alone. You got to live that life, and you need to get surrounded by the luxury or luxury style facilities to get really has that immersive experience. I would also invite you to have a look at the institute in Souk de Luxe, that's in France, Paris. This institute is been formed by the Cartier Group, which is world's foremost luxury brand. And when they have started this institutes and they have got the Cartier DNA into it, and Cartier stands very tall for luxury products, it would make more sense to you to go to this kind of institutes to learn luxury rather than going to a typical university and just getting one luxury degree. So I would suggest, yes, there will be a huge difference when you have got these kind of experiences. And career opportunities, as you ask here, is amazing because there are very few institutes, there are very few people who understand luxury. The demands for luxury products, whether it's car, watches, clothes, accessories, hotels, experiences, resorts, and then health, spa, and even there are luxury spa centers now. So luxury can be added to any industry, any product, any service. So you would always find there are a lot of job opportunities, very high paid job opportunities, and the experience will be completely different because you're dealing with a different client set altogether. So yeah, the job opportunities are plenty. Similarly, for design management, there are lots of courses being introduced within and around the design courses. So it's no longer just a fashion design or interior design. You can go for design consulting, design management, design and development, design and hospitality and design management. That could be also a great combination which some of the institutes offer, and they also equally have got a great career opportunities. Last question for today, if I may take, which are the countries we help students to get admission across the universities? As a company, we offer 19 countries option, which would include US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, France, Hungary, UAE, Malaysia, Georgia, Russia. So there are plenty of options. Spain, Netherlands. It's only depends that when we counsel and when we ask the students the questions in order to know them well. For example, what kind of specialization you're looking for, what is your budget, what are your career prospects, I mean what are your future goals, then your past exposure and your interest, personal interest. Based on that, then we identify the right options for you and we offer you. So if any counselor has got this similar framework to help you, he's the right counselor. Please go ahead and then consult with them so that you'll be in a better position to take the right decision. We always say there is a 3C model to connect the right course with the right country, with the right college, and that's how you become successful. So with this, I would like to conclude the session. Thank you very much for watching the show, and I hope that it added a lot of knowledge and information to your understanding. I'm looking forward to see you soon again next Saturday. Until then, stay happy and stay excited. Thank you very much.